So, hello everyone. Good time of day. We are from Ukraine. Доброго дня, ми з України. OptiData is on air, and this video is dedicated to cybersecurity during real war. My name is Vlad. I am a technical lead of OptiData team, and my main responsibilities are implementing and support of different McAfee, now it's called Trellix vendor, cybersecurity solution. Also, I like to make dynamic malware analysis and provide education courses for our customers. It is a long time I didn't make English content. I wish I would have a better topic, but there is a war in my country. I'm sorry for this, but I really need to spend a couple of minutes of your attention to ask you about something. There is a Russian invasion in Ukraine. I didn't know how you feel about this, but I need to tell you something. Please take a look at the picture. You may not know what the building is on this footage, but you noticed red circle and some word painted by white color. It is Russian word "дети". It means children. This building is Donetsk Regional Drama Theater, which located in Ukrainian city Mariupol. Mariupol is many days on a siege by Russian military forces. Just imagine that in this city there are no electricity, no gas, no water, no food, no medicine. There are thousands of Ukrainian civilians there. They blocked by Russians. So this theater building was used primarily by Ukrainian women and children like a bomb shelter. Yesterday, Russian pilot dropped bomb on this building. And I want to ask you something. I not ask you to came in Ukraine to fight with our enemies. But if you want to, you can do this, because Ukraine has now foreign legion. People from other country can came to Ukraine and can fight with our military forces against Russia. I leave some website on description of this video, but I don't ask you to came here and fight. We have enough people, we have enough equipment. I not ask you for help. We appreciate your support and appreciate of support of your government and your countries. Thank you. Instead of this, I ask you about one simple favor. Not for me personal, no. I ask you in the name of all civilians, of all women and children who died in this brutal war. Please do not make any business with people from Russia and Belarus. You can ask me why. Because Russians and Belarus didn't care about civilian casualties. They only regret, they only cry about closing McDonald's, KFC, IKEA, they cry about blocked Instagram, but not for dead bodies. Each of them military and civilians share responsibility for this war. Yeah, some part of them just stay and watch, but other kill us. I ask you to remember one simple fact. Russian bomb was dropped on the theater not by Putin. No. This bomb was dropped by Russian pilot. Pilot know the target. Pilot saw word дети, children. He was ordinary human. He could reject order. He could, in the last second, abort this mission. At least he could just miss the target. Let's say drop bomb 100-meter left or 100-meter right. But they didn't change anything. This means that Russians and Belarusians kill innocent Ukrainian women and children consciously. They know what they do. This is a result of Russian invasion. There are many dead women and children. Please, when people from Russia and Belarus will try to convince you that there is a bad Russians and Belarusia and there is a good Russian and good Belarusia, don't trust them. Avoid any business with people from Russia and Belarus. Do not use their products, do not buy their products. If you cannot avoid business with them, in example, if they need your services or products, at least make double price for them. Make them pay for what they did. Sorry for this, but it is important for me. It is my country. Sorry. Let's get down to business. So I want to share with you my thoughts about how war change cybersecurity when you need to maintain protection of some company. I will show you my vision of threat model for business during a war. I will remind you some operation security basics which needs to be implemented for each employee. And I will show you main cyber threats for business in war zone. And in the finish, we will talk about protection measurements, cybersecurity solutions, which can help you. So, if we think about war, when war knock on the door of your house, you really understood that on the first place came physical threats. You cannot maintain business continuity. You cannot provide security if you cannot protect your staff, your employees. Because at the first place for business is physical protection for employees and their families. Because during war, people can be captivity, people can be killed, and other things. Yeah. Again, some buildings, some real estate, some factories can be demolished. in result of warfare. And many employees must switch to the remote work if they decided to stay in the country, to stay in a war zone. Any military operation, any war, make a huge disruption of logistic process, finance operation, and access to the internet. You need to be prepared for this. You need to think about this. Again, you need to be ready that some part of your employee will be involved in homeland defense, in military service to protect the country. And last but not least, during war there is always spike, there is increase of cyber threats and cyber attacks by groups which affiliated with enemy of your state, enemy of your homeland. If you need color selection differentiation, here it is. As you can see, physical threats is more dangerous and more prevalent. If your information security officer is not feel safety, if her family or if his family is not safe, they cannot do his or her job. You need to remember this. Okay, let's discuss threat model for any business during a war. Let's say you have some factory or some office, and you wake up in the morning and you turn news by TV or by social networks, and you see that other country attack your territory. What does it mean for your business? It means that in first place your staff, your employee can be killed and your facility, your building can be destroyed by warfare. At the second point, you need to be ready that there is a huge problem with GSM, with cell connectivity, and you need to prepare all for remote work for any of your worker. And cyber threats didn't stop, they will only increase. But we will talk about this later, so go on. I need to remind you the basics, really basic stuff about operation security. So please, many people think that if they took the smartphone and just make a conversation by GSM or text, short message, text SMS, it is secure. It is not secure channel for conversation, especially in terms of war, when your enemy can use different radio electronic equipment to block or to disrupt cell connectivity. So please do not use cell phones, do not use short message system like a trust channel. Again, for all corporate and personal account, must be mandatory multi-factor authentication, but not SMS. because you must remember that it is always a possibility of SIM swap attacks. About messengers, I recommend use Signal or Trima. It could be also WhatsApp or even Facebook Messenger. Please do not use or please avoid of using Viber and Telegram. I have special content. I have another video about why I didn't recommend Viber and Telegram. I didn't want to waste your time now. So please take Signal or Trima. During a warfare, try to not use rogue Wi-Fi, USB or charger that you do not own. When it's possible, use mobile access point plus VPN. And again, you need to remember, do not send documents, do not send work information in plain text. Use McAfee Trellix file and removable media protection encryption solution, or at least use some archive with password. This password must be sent by different channel. Let's say if you need to send some document, you put this document in the archive with password. You send this archive, let's say, by email, and password you send by Signal or Trima. Again, I remind you about Proton VPN, Proton Mail, and Signal. This is a really starter pack for secure conversation, for security workflow. So I recommend to use these tools. Again, if you don't have dedicated person, or if you don't have sandbox to check files and URLs, please teach your employee, teach your staff when they receive some emails, or let's say some conversation in messengers or in a social network, before they open some documents, before they click on some links, teach them to use VirusTotal. Yes, it is not ideal. I don't like VirusTotal, but it is better than nothing. If we talk about executable file types, let's say exe and DLL, you can use integer analyze to find malware, packet protected, encrypted, regardless. If we talk about checking URL before open it, your users can try to URL scan, and you can avoid some phishing pages. Again, I need to point you that there is a nice service, Have I Been Pwned by Troy Hunt, where you can check by email was your account, corporate or personal, compromised or not. And for multi-factor authentication, I recommend to use application, not SMS, and this application could be Google Authenticator. If we talk about cyber threats, you can notice that there is increase of number of these threats, but nature of these threats didn't change notorious. What I mean? I mean that at least for my country, at least for Ukrainian companies, for our customers, like it was before, main risk still posed by delivery malware by email, spear phishing, delivery malware by messengers, by social networks, by URL, it's a bazaar loader, let's say. Again, our enemies or cyber criminals who are affiliated with our enemies try to find and try to use software and hardware vulnerabilities, especially in that equipment, in that software which was published to the internet. It means web portals, websites, VPN, etc., etc., etc. Again, they could be cases when adversaries try to intrusion by compromised some of our contractor or service provider, or use, let's say, supply chain like it was with SolarWinds. Yeah, and again, both of sides try to leverage DDoS attack or deface web page of each side. So this is the main focus that you need to avoid, that you need to be ready to protect your business from that. Some examples of spear phishing or fake emails by our third team of Ukraine, and I understood that if you're not Ukrainian speaker, you do not understood what this means. It's Ukrnet, it's Ukrainian free webmail. It's like a Yahoo Mail, it's like Gmail, but it's Ukrainian local. And this example of spear phishing just use QR code, and when victim scan this QR code by their smartphone, they just redirected to some fake page, and this fake page try to phish user account. This is a standard schema. Yeah. Second one, this is nice pretext in this fake mail. This text is all about security measurements to protect companies during warfare. And in this fake email, adversaries use attachment and links to the executable, and in the finish it was Cobalt Strike. Yeah, and one more time again, there is a fake email with attachment. In this attachment there are macros, and if victim activate open this attachment, and if endpoint protection is not strong enough, not tuned, if policy of antivirus is left on default, then it leads to just computer will be infected by malware. You can see a blue link. It's a link for additional IOCs and TTPs by particular attack, and down you see a red link. Red link is a link to my old article about how a regular user, non-technician, can distinguish real email from spear phishing. You can use Google Translate or different translator, and you can use this information to teach your staff to avoid spear phishing. If we talk about protection measurements, I will name what must be done. You can notice that some part that you missing, some part of this. This is a gold standard which we offer for our customers. So all starts from the endpoint, because like a regular user, like some top chairman, some CEO worked on their laptop or on their endpoint. So first of all, regardless of type of your business, if your employee take some documents, take some commercial information with them by store it on laptop, first what need be done? Look at boot device priority, password for BIOS, for UEFI, and drive encryption. It can be drive encryption McAfee or Trellix drive encryption. Second one, endpoint protection must block any anomaly behavior. What I mean by anomaly behavior, let's say application of Microsoft Office, Word or Excel try to create a chilled process of CMD or PowerShell or MS-HTL or something like that, MS-HTA. There is an anomaly. Or again, different case if Word or Excel try to run child process, let's say whoami command or sysinfo command. There is suspicious activity, and usually when user dealing with normal documents, they do not use this built-in low bins of operating system. Next, you need to use legit, I mean licensed software, and this software must be regularly updated, because many companies, small and big, was compromised because they just forgot to update something. In some cases it was updates for Windows, in other cases it was updates for their VPN, etc, etc, etc. Next, you need to block delivery channels of malware. The main channels, there is email by fake emails, by spear phishing, and web by URLs. So you need strict filters by web content, by reputation category. It can be done by Trellix or McAfee Web Gateway, and strict filters of email, I mean anti-spam, and blocking non-usual file types. You need to block anything and allow only delivery PDF and Office documents. And again, you can use Trellix FireEye email protection. Next, as I said before, you also need mandatory multi-factor authentication, but not by SMS, by application or by physical token for each corporate and personal accounts of your employee. And non-naked RDP or other portals, other international services publish it without VPN and PAM solution. You also need to use vulnerability scanner, and it would be better if this scanner would be integrated with patch management solution. If you have something EDR, CM, sandbox, and so on, it's okay. But when most part of your employee just transfer to the remote work, on the first place you need PAM solution. And again, despite of war, despite of warfare, you need to provide short continuous online education about actual cyber threats. You need to show to your users examples. Hey, take a look. This message was used yesterday to steal your credentials. People need to see real examples, and this must be actual examples. And again, if you can, you need to shut down or cut all non-mission critical services, equipment, etc., etc. If you are a developer, you may need to close your old repositories. If you have some old testing web portals, you need to shut down it, or you need to maintain access list to them, and etc., etc., etc. To be short, as you can see from my slides, main parts of cybersecurity didn't change even during war. Yes, war makes some changes, but these changes is more physical and more about logistic, more about internet access, and etc., etc., etc. You just need to be ready to adopt, and adopt not only your cybersecurity, but adopt your business process to situation in country during a war. And again, your technical staff, your information security guys, your help desk team must be exchangeable. Why? Because they may killed, or they may go to the military service to protect their country, and someone who stay must must maintain security, move on, and there is must be internal documentation to make this works. And again, I need to remember that spear phishing, critical vulnerabilities, DDoS, deface, and remote workflow, there is a main point of attention. Again, data backup to the cloud, and you need to remember, you need to think about backup communication channels. At least if you plan operate in the country which is on a war zone, or you see that there is some military operation, you need to provide to your staff some mobile plans which include mobile internet, like a backup solution in case that regular lines, regular Wi-Fi, and regular optics will be broken by war. I will left on description of this video links to my content. Yes, this content part of it is in Ukrainian language, but if you really need this info, I hope you can use translation. And in case if you are McAfee or Trellix customer, in case if you use McAfee endpoint security, you can find many examples of policy hardening, and I left there in English, and I hope that this content will be useful for you. So thank you for your time. Apologize about emotional intro. Remember, please do not do any business with people from Russia and Belarus. Glory to Ukraine! Слава Україні!